There's a teaching in the Christian Bible where it says that Jesus said something of the nature of heaven and earth will pass away, but my words are eternal. There is a tremendous amount of meaning in that escapes, well, basically the audience, which are all Christian. So I want to break that down a little bit in this video, and I think the video will be short. But what I want to break down, the meaning of it, is let's ask the question, what does he, you know what? I want to get off track right now, and I'll get back to this because I wanted to make this point in this video also, that you probably don't know how rare you are personally, and I don't mean you, and I mean the world and whatever. I mean you that's watching this video, you. You don't know how rare you are. Do you know that I'd like you to look at my YouTube video channel. By the way, I don't disseminate this information other than through YouTube. I don't meet with anyone. I don't talk with anyone. I have no contact whatsoever with anyone else other than through email or video for people that actually watch my videos. So the point I'm trying to make is how rare you are. If you look at my YouTube channel, you're going to find that consistently there might be 40 or 50 views over the course of a week or two. And maybe if you extend it out over the course of a month, there might be, heck, I don't know, maybe approaching 100 or so views. And out of those views, how many people watch the entire video trying to understand what I'm trying to convey? Well, I don't know, maybe half, maybe more. But still, let's say 100% of the people paid quite close attention and try to understand what I'm trying to convey. That would still only be about 100 people or so. And that's in the entire world, because if it were interesting enough to people with different language throughout the world, I'm sure, I mean, like Apple Computer makes devices that translate English into whatever language you happen to speak or understand, as well as any AI generator will convert my words. So the message is available to several billion people on the planet. And I use good enough quality video and good enough quality sound that that's not a deterrent for not listening. So there's only maybe 100 people out of 7 billion people that listen to what I'm teaching. Now, what does that say about you? I mean, you need to think about that for a minute. What does that say about you? That out of several billion people, you're one of 100. Probably less than 1 in 50 people in the entire world. I've had my YouTube channel up for more than a decade. I've been doing this for a very long time. And yet, you could actually take, I mean, I'm sure anyone could create their own YouTube channel and have it focused on a blade of grass during the day, and whether it moves or whatever, and that's all the video is. And you would get more followers and more views of that blade of grass than you would of what I'm doing. So my point being is, what does that say about you? Not me necessarily, but you personally. How rare is it that you found this channel? You really need to question yourself. And I mean that in all sincerity. You need to question yourself. You need to question how damned important is it for you to understand the things that I'm trying to teach or convey if you are 1 in 50 people out of 7 billion. You should not take that lightly. I mean, how many times have I said that? I'm trying to emphasize to you how rare you are personally. Okay. Now, why is it so rare, and what is it that I teach and convey that's so unusual? I teach that non-duality is a lie. It is not only a lie, but it is also a false teaching based upon ignorance. So people can try to learn something, and when they don't learn it, it's called ignorance. That's what is in the world today when it comes to spirituality, ignorance. Now, some people teach non-duality because they are actually know the truth and they're lying. And those would be like the top lieutenants of Satan in the world. And they know the truth, but they are teaching non-duality based upon a lie. But most people, gurus and stuff like that, and spiritual teachers, the reason they teach non-duality is because that's the existential reality in which we live. And they default to that, thinking that that's reality. But I said in the beginning, I said what Jesus was trying to teach when he said, heaven and earth will pass, except my words are eternal. So how am I going to correlate that into the concept of non-duality being a false teaching or a lie or taught out of ignorance? How am I going to connect that? And furthermore, how am I going to differentiate what I teach from the entire world? I'm going to differentiate because you personally that I'm talking to, you are not a created thing. All things will cease to exist. All things will end. You are not a thing. Now, when I'm speaking and talking to your body, that's a thing. When I speak and talk to your soul, that's a thing. When I speak and talk about anything, it's a thing. It will cease to exist at the end of a kalpa. There will be nothing left except the words that Jesus taught. Now, you probably don't fully understand what I just said, and I'm not going to repeat it time after time after time. But what I will say, so that it creates some sort of emphasis within your mind, is that it is so uncommon and rare, the concept of what I teach, which is you personally, your essence, is not a created thing by God. God did not create it. That is so rare that if I've been teaching this and you've been listening to it, and you're over the time, maybe a year or two, or however long you've been watching me, it might become commonplace to you because I constantly teach this stuff, and you might start to think that that's normal. I want you to know get back to that thing where I said you're 1 in 50 out of several billion people on the planet. So if you understand what I'm saying about you are not a created thing of God, and you start to think that that is normal, recognize that in reality, the only reason you think it's normal is you've never talked with other people very much. But it is so rare that there is only a handful of people on the planet today that understand that concept. Most people, it doesn't matter who they are, what religion they are, how many years they've spent teaching, regardless of whether they're a saint in a Christian church and they've been there for 100 years studying, they do not understand that concept unless it was taught to them directly from God. There is no written source to dictate that sort of teaching. So, you are rare indeed. You came to this channel through divine guidance, and not because of me, but because of you. God showed mercy on your soul because you are a good person and you pray and you want to know the truth. It's getting back to the concept of Jesus' teaching where it says, knock and I shall open, ask and it shall be given. Somewhere along the line, that's where you were, and you found this channel mysteriously, miraculously, whatever the case may be. And so you and I are not on the basis of you are a neophyte or a seeker or a new person in spirituality, and I am this great all-knowing guru. That's not the relationship. The relationship is, I am your friend, you are my friend. I obviously give freely what God has given me, and you give me through your friendship to me. Because, think about it, all things will pass, heaven and earth. No matter what it is you give to me, no matter what it is you do for me, because you love me, because you appreciate it, it will pass. The only thing that is eternal is your word, and it's only your word if it's coming from your core essence. And so if you are my friend through your word, that is the only thing that's eternal. Everything else will pass. Now, getting back to backtrack where I started when Jesus taught that concept, well, what does that mean? All things will pass, heaven and earth. Heaven. Now, people will teach, well, what he meant by heaven is blah, 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 blah. No, he could have said space will pass, the stars will pass. No, he said heaven. He meant heaven. He meant there's no realms, there's nothing. Everything will pass. There's nothing left. When you get to the concept of Brahman, and you start to understand the nature of Brahman, and when I say start, you're never going to understand it without some sort of input directly to you from God. But you can start to understand it as a person can understand a lemon from a picture or a writing or whatever. You're not going to taste the lemon from that, but you at least will start to learn about it. That's where you're going to be in this reality realm until God actually gives you the knowledge of Brahman. And of course, when he does that, there's no way for you to give it to anyone else either. So I teach with words and pictures and whatever the concept of Brahman. Brahman doesn't pass. Why? Because it doesn't come into existence. So think about that. If all things will pass, heaven and earth, but my words do not pass, how do the words, when he says words, don't take the words as though they're words coming from a person's mouth. He means the teachings. He means the love. He He means the friendship. There's no love, there's no friendship unless there's a concept of duality. Duality can only exist in God, in Brahma, in the teachings of Jesus. There is no other way for duality to exist, because in Brahman there is no duality. There is no non-duality. There isn't anything you can put your finger on to define what it is. It isn't a God. It isn't a person, place, or thing. What Brahman is, some gurus I know from past have tried to explain it by saying it is the pregnant nothingness from which everything comes to us. Well, still, how does it come to us? We don't create it. We don't put it into the process of starting. It's Brahma that brings it to us. So anything that is to us is a way to awaken us. But those things will pass. And when they finally pass, you will have nothing to cling to. You will have nothing to hold on to. You don't even have God Brahma to hold on to. You don't have Jesus the Christ to hold on. You don't have Shiva. You don't have anything. You don't even have yourself to hold on to. Except for, he said his words are eternal. So if his words are eternal, he must be eternal. But what is he? And what are his words? Well, the he has to go back to what I teach, which is the essence. But what is the essence? The essence goes back to the primordial beginnings of what you are from the nothingness of Brahman. You will eternally exist with Brahma if you choose, and if you accept the atonement of Christ, and if you fill your heart and soul with love. Now, don't think that you have to do this in a lifetime. It takes trillions of years, millions and billions of life experiences as human beings, as dogs and cats, and who knows what you were to get to the point where you are now. So, that's the point of this video. I need to explain the reason I'm talking weird is I have these clear braces in that straighten your teeth. And the only reason I'm bringing this up is because I don't want you to think I'm weird with the way I'm talking, which is different than normal. But you know I'm an artist and I like to build things. Well, I built my dentist a sign for his business. And I used a logo on his cell phone that I looked at, and I built it off of the picture on his cell phone. And I hung it up in his office, and I told him, I says, you can throw it away, you can keep it, you can do whatever you want with it, but I don't want any money. And if you like it, I want some trade value for it. And that's what I do, because I enjoy building things, but I don't enjoy charging money for things. And so, for instance, I haven't had to pay for a haircut for a decade because I trade with my hairstylist. She's expensive. She doesn't do men normally. That doesn't sound right, but she doesn't cut the hair of men very commonly. She normally focuses upon women. And the only reason I met her is through my wife. And I built her a sign, and since I've built all kinds of things for her, and I never pay for haircuts. Well, my dentist After he saw the sign, about a month later, he sent me an email message and said, well, I'd like to give you $5,000 credit trade for these teeth straightening devices. And honestly, I didn't want to do it, but I didn't want to disrespect him either. And so I took him up on it. And so that's where I'm at. And I'll probably have these damn things in. They change out for the next, I don't know, maybe a year, because my teeth are obviously very crooked. That's off on a tangent, but I just wanted to explain why I'm talking weird. Anyways, with that, I am going to sign out and hopefully come up with some other interesting things to talk about next week. And I want to tell you I love you, and I pray for you, and I hope you start gaining miracles in your life and communicating with your God that loves you more than you can possibly imagine, regardless of what you think your value is. It doesn't matter, no matter what you've done in the past. It doesn't matter how sinful you think you are, or no matter how sinful you actually are. All these things are forgivable, and your God loves you more than you can possibly imagine. And when I say your God, I'm speaking of Brahma. I'm speaking of the God that Jesus prayed to. That's the person I'm talking about. This person loves you more than you can possibly imagine. I have felt that love. I've communicated directly with this God. I have the same love that this God has for you, and it has affected my life personally to such a degree that it has, shall I say, broken me out of my shell, where I go to the extent of making these videos, that I tell you that I love you. Do you know how hard it is for most people that are not lying, by the way, to say that they love another person? How hard it is? I mean, it's very easy if you're a sociopath or a psychopath or a liar to tell someone you love them. But if you are a good person in your heart and soul, it's generally quite difficult to express your love for another person, especially for a man, because it humbles you personally, is what it does. It's a very difficult thing to do. So when I tell you I love you, I am being damn sincere. And not only am I saying I love you because I'm damn sincere, but I'm telling you I love you because I've had enough interaction with Brahma that I felt the love that Brahma has for me, and I've seen the future that God has given me, and the incredible value of your heart and your soul and your essence is just almost unimaginable. And you love me, and you will love me in the eternities. And that's why I say I love you. Possibly right now, there are some of you that are going, I don't know what the hell is wrong with that fucking guy. I don't like him. I don't care for him. Blah, 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 blah. You know what? I love you. Why do I love you? Because your heart and soul is going to change. Whatever it is you think that you're hard-hearted, no matter what is going on in your life right now, you are going to change. Maybe not in this life, but in the next life, or the next life, or the next life. The reason I say you will love me, there's nothing to hate about me, unless you want to focus upon the things that are not me. For instance, this human physical body might come across as an asshole to some people, but that isn't me. That's this physical body. It's my ego. It's how I've been developed in this world and everything. And so I might come across that way. But if you look into my heart and soul with your intuition and with the help of God and everything, you'll see that there's nothing in me but love. And that's why I say you will eventually love me if you don't already. And that's why I say I love you. So I'm going to sign out, and I will see you later, and I hope you guys have a good week.